Hi, and welcome everyone to our virtual Byways reception. This has taken a long time, over a year, to get all of our entries and to judge our finalists, and we were thrilled this year. There were so many talented students in writing and art. We were so excited to see so many people and so many entries this year that it was just extremely hard for our judges to choose. We have with you today many of our writers and our artists, and we're going to be a little creative. We had some that at the last minute found out they were taking the STAR test, and so they sent us some videos. We have some people who we have to kind of drag it out and they can go ahead and join us at the end. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go down our list, we're going to show their work, then we're going to have the artist talk about it. If we don't have the artist here or we don't have a video, we're going to show you their work. And then we're going to move on to our next artist. There's going to be an interlude in the middle where we're going to show you um, this year's Byways journal and some past Byways journals to give our students that STAR test students a chance to come on and join us into the meeting. So without further ado, I get a big smile from our Ashley. We are going to start our reception. So let me introduce our first artist. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. And we're going to be meeting our artists and our writers. So just to make sure, guys, I'm on the PowerPoint, right? Lee? Yes. Okay.
Yes, I see the
All right.
PowerPoint.
Thank you. I had so many windows up all of a sudden to make sure. Okay, our second and third place in drawing, and he also got an honorable mention, but we're going to show you our second and our third place first, Mr. Jared Santi. And so here is Jared, and
Hi, I'm Jared Santi. I did the second place, third place, and the honorable mention for the drawing category. The first one is, I think I titled it Bust of a Grenadier. I don't really title any works. I usually just draw on scraps of paper, literally. I think that was on the back of like a room placard, like a barracks room placard. I was on duty and I drew that one. Bust of a Grenadier, anyways. The portrait of a man. I think that one I just really wanted to kind of practice using blending sticks. Usually I don't have access to art supplies, and I had blending sticks on hand, so I used that and I kind of created that beard effect, and it was really cool. I forget who the reference I used for that picture was, but it's some fella from the 19th century with a nice beard that I drew. So yeah, I'm really happy with that one. Um, but I really like the Bust of the Grenadier because I think I did that one in like an hour. That's probably the most recent drawing I've done. I'm pretty happy with it. Usually everyone I show that to really likes it. And the subject matter is a German grenadier from the Africa Corps in World War II. So that would have been Rommel's division down there in North Africa. So he's got the pith helmet and he's got the goggles and the freaking the neck gaiter, right? And if you ever done like training in Fort Irwin or 29 Palms or gone to Iraq or Afghanistan, I mean, I haven't done that, but I've been to 29 Palms. I spent, like 6 or 7 months there. And that sand just gets everywhere. And if you don't have your goggles and your freaking neck gaiter and everything cinched down tight, sand's gonna find a way in and it's gonna chafe. And I had like a rash, a blister of like raw skin down here. So yeah, freaking yeah, Africa Corps, Buster Grenadier. It's cool. I've all the subject matter of my drawings have pretty much always been military inspired, and uh, going back to high school. I have tons of drawings from when I was 15, 16, 17. And then, of course, I joined when I was 17. So, and pretty much uniformly, the subject matter is military. And you'll see that in the honorable mention as well. The honorable mention is the USS Constitution, which, of course, is one of the six original frigates. And the fun fact, the only commissioned warship in the U.S. Navy that still has a confirmed kill on an enemy vessel. So they decommissioned some frigates a few years ago that had kills on Iraqi ships, but they got rid of those. And I mean, I'm pretty happy with my drawing ability, but I've always wanted to kind of move out of it into different forms of art and stuff like that. So I've had very limited experience with like painting, oil painting. I wasn't too much of a fan of it, probably because I haven't practiced enough and it's expensive. I've done acrylic painting. I painted a little bit of a mural, and I was pretty happy with how that turned out. Also, military inspired. I painted it in my unit's headquarters building. Um, and yeah, what I'm really interested in is like machine work and working with metal and stuff like that. I think that's the highest form of art, right? It's a practical application of art. It's not just art for the sake of having art. And I mean, that goes to hobby carpentry and stuff too. I've been kind of getting into that. In fact, I have an example I can show if you'd like to. But I really want to get, I started on the carpentry thing, and I'm more proud of my pretty crude carpentry projects than I am of some of my drawings, despite them being, you know, people say they look pretty good. I think technical mastery of drawing was pretty easy concept for me to grasp. I think a lot of it's just attention to detail and not taking shortcuts. So, yeah,
Cool.
any questions for me, man?
Um, no, but I want to go ahead and show everybody first, your second, your honorable mention. These were again, the bust of a grenadier and portrait of a man and your Constitution on parade.
Yes. Yeah,
So
I like this one more than the Bust of a Grenadier, though, to be honest. If I was born in the 19th century, or in the 18th century, I would be on a ship. So.
cool. All right. Does anybody have any questions or Lee? Does anybody have any questions for Jared?
There are no questions on the Facebook end right now.
Okay. All righty. So thank you so much, Jared. We will probably get back to you and ask you some questions as we keep going. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's move on to our next finalist. Our next finalist was first place winner in drawing, Kiki Kelly. Kiki, yeah, Kiki Kelly, this is her artwork, and she also, which is amazing, she also got first and second place for her painting Beach and Facebook. And her painting Facebook was chosen for our advertisements, our marketing for next year. So she also got that honor. All right, we have a video from Kiki. Now, you won't see Kiki. She just did a really awesome video. So she's also a video maker of her work. So let's keep our fingers crossed that this will play.
It has no sound, Cindy.
It has no sound.
Yeah, you got to give it permission.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start this one over. Okay. All righty, guys. Forgot that piece. Sorry, Lee. Can you hear it?
I can't see it or hear it.
Hang on. All right. Can't see it or hear it?
No.
No. Did you see it
There
before?
we go.
But didn't hear it?
I see it now.
Keep our fingers crossed, guys. This works. Can you
There we
hear it?
go. Yes.
Wow. That was very, very powerful. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next finalist. And he is not here with us, but Damon Finklia got third place in painting. So let's take a moment to look at his work, which was extremely powerful. Does anybody have any questions? He's not here to answer it, but if you have any comments, make sure that you put it in the Facebook comment section. Okay. So our next, what is he holding? That's a good question. It's kind of looking like money, maybe. We may be able to like get some of our artists and our writers who were not able to come here today to answer questions, in the comments. So definitely, if you're out there watching it, go ahead and if there are questions in the comments section, definitely answer them. Okay. All righty. Well, we're going to go on to our next artist. Alyssa is also not with us. Alyssa Vasquez. Um, she has honorable mention and merited work in drawing and painting. So we want to go ahead and show off her work here. What merited work means is that we've believed that it was a powerful piece and it needed to be included into the journal. The journal is a published work, and our artists and our writers, they are now published, and therefore being able to be included in the Byways journal is a big deal. And so we are so very proud of all of our artists and our writers who were included in the work in the journal. So also Alyssa had two other works, Abstract Sky and Fountain of Youth. And personally, I love her colors. I think her colors are awesome. So again, if you have any questions for Alyssa, put them in the Facebook comments, and that way we can get our artists and our writers to go ahead and talk to you. All right. Well, I know we have our Ashley here talking with us today. We want to first show her work. She did first and second place in music lyrics. She also got a merited work in poetry, but maybe we can go ahead and talk about the music lyrics, and we're going to move over to Ashley, and then we can go back and talk about her poem. All right, so there you are, Ashley. Welcome.
Yes, the music lyrics, actually, all of the work that I submitted this year all has kind of the same subject matter, and it's a very very emotional for me. We experienced great loss on New Year's Eve during this past Christmas break. My 20-year-old niece and her boyfriend were on New Year's Eve. It's been very rough on our family. And I was trying to find a way to, I don't know, to get my emotions out in a healthy way. And I just kind of picked up my pen one day and I just started writing stuff down. And it just kind of, the two that I did song lyrics, they just kind of came out of around midnight. I just started writing. Um, and then the other two that I submitted, one was before that. I was just kind of sitting there. I have my moments where I get really sad. I have other moments where I remember all the good times from when she was little and stuff like that. And I just started right. It ended up the way I wrote it, and the way that both my sister, and my brother-in-law said was like it was almost like chronicling life. And I mean, it just kind of happened. And like I said, I was trying to find a healthy outlet to kind of show not just the grief that I was experiencing, but the experience. And so just kind of chose to do it this way. And the one Petals one was kind of inspiration. She loved the water, both her and her love the water. And I was going on walks recently. I would a couple hours, kind of just kind of have silence for them, and I would throw both hours in. That's where I loved to spend always at the coast and stuff like that. and going fishing, and all kinds of fun stuff. So that's kind of where the inspiration for I would sit there and kind of think about it and just um, almost like talk to them like a soul talk, like you're gonna get justice type, like a way to show my love, and for her boyfriend too. Her boyfriend was practically, I mean, in the future he was going. That's basically the subject matter. It seems very somber, very sad, but that's kind of, I do that a lot of the times with events in our lives and ways that I'm feeling. I try to display them in healthy outlets and not just for sad moments but for happy as well. Do you want me to read?
You cut out, Ashley. Do you want me to show your poem? And then is that the one you want to do that you'll do with us?
Sure, that works.
Okay. This is Ashley's poems. And yeah, if you'll do one, you want to do one of them for us, especially the one with your niece.
Yes, I would, and try.
It'd be fine.
um, um, but yes, I'll do the. I think the merited work was the hello goodbye. Okay. So at the top, I said it was dedicated to the memory of my niece, Haley May Leo, July 1st, 2000 to December 3rd. Late night, early morn, waiting for you to be, wanting to hold you, see you smile, making the hot summer sleepless night worthwhile. She's here, she's here, tears in our eyes and smiles on our face. Welcome to the world, Miss Haley Renee. Adorable giggles and baby snuggles, your first birthday cake smash and nap time calls gave way to playtime, tutus, and daredevil tumbles. Saturday nights spent at the races with lots of faces, watching your daddy drive. On summer days, splashing in to your very first day of school. Your favorite cheerleader movie, Days of Unpredictable Fun, becoming such a free spirit and far from done. Became a big sister, and oh what a sight to see you love little sister with such intense delight. A warm May day, both dressed in white, you catching the day with a squeal, banding together a change of life, and dealing with sadness and strife. Cold snow and rocky mountain, new experiences and still mountains of joy and strength. Back to the heat, sweltering sun. I have you back, yet my own sadness has opened. I am there in body, but not in heart. My own selfish antics made me seem as if apart. I am ashamed every day for letting my issues get in the way of fun with you and your sister too. I know I said I was sorry, and I know you said it was okay, but I was going to make it up to you, try as I may. A new, better man in my life. You accepted him as family, and what a joy it was to not be a calamity. An ocean of blue as you walked across that stage made our hearts swell with pride as they said your name. The world is your oyster, so much ahead. If only we knew there was little time left. Together on the waves of the sea, so glad you were there with such a time of adventure and childlike. Again, you two walked together, flowers preparing my way, but you knew in your heart this love is here to stay. My heart swelled with pride again. My beautiful nieces watch our journey begin. And you, beautiful soul, man of your dream, watching your love for each other grow, glory is seen. All of us together, what would be the last time? I wish there would have been some kind of sign. That dreadful night, New Year's Eve, the darkness came, enveloped me. Why? Was all I could say. This must be a dream. No, a nightmare, we say. Tears running down our cheeks, faces fixed in utter disbelief. Where do we go from here? Think. Each in our own grief, wanting answers, justice, yet we sink. Our hearts, hopes, to the depths of distress. And now we say goodbye to this beautiful girl, brought so much happiness to this world. Tear-stained faces, sobbing embraces, struggling for words, answers, erase this pain, O Lord, we prayed. We will never forget your kind heart and soul, the love you had for another dearly departed soul. Remember your greatness, laughter, and smile. Goodbye, Bailey Renee. See you after.
I think you're muted.
Miss Ozer, muted?
I said thank you. I'm over here telling y'all mute, unmute. Thank you so much for sharing that. So far, you for both of you for being so brave to talk. So, all right, we're gonna move on to our next. It's an artist that we have. Hang on. Make sure I get the audio motion thing right. Okay. All right. We have second and third place in digital art, and that's Caden. Well, let's see. Yes, an honorable mention in digital art. He's also a writer. So we had second place in short story, and we had honorable mention in the power to create. And I had skipped one, sorry. There's his second and his third place in digital art, which is amazing. So we're going to watch a video. He starts off pretty small in the frame and he talks a minute very small in the frame, but then he will bring up his work. So hopefully you guys will be able to hear him. Lee, tell me if, because he speaks pretty soft, so tell me if I need to stop and make it louder, okay?
Hi, so this is Caden, and today I'm gonna be talking about my Byways works. So here we have my first drawing that I'm gonna be talking about. I call it depression because it symbolizes the feeling that one has when they are depressed, when they are very sad, and when they are feeling a little bit like they don't care. Um, so here we have a lot of blue. Um, we've got black going on because black symbolizes when you really don't care. You just, there's no color at all, no emotion at all. And that's part of what goes into being really depressed. So, yeah, there's not really much more to talk about. I was feeling kind of sad, but you know, we all feel kind of sad. Alright, so this is Tome doing a mana burst. Basically, she takes all of her magic and uses it all at the same time, and it looks really cool. So here we have me, and basically I'm depicting what it feels like to make something. It feels great, but you can become a little crazy. Finally, we have Choose Your Class, Chapter 1, part one. And this basically goes through tone, becoming tone. And she forgets something very important, which turns out to be the plot of the whole short story. What caused me to make this? Nothing. It's just like magic. So I wrote about magic.
Okay. All right. And then we have another video. And our next artist, this Trina Orr, she created Amber. And Amber was voted first place for digital art. She was also voted as the cover of our Byways journal. So this is her amazing work. And she made a video for us. Whoops. All right. Takes a little bit to get it. Nope. There we go.
Good afternoon. My name is Trina Orr, and today I'll be talking about my art piece, Amber. I'm sorry that I can't be there today because I have an exam, but I do appreciate the opportunity that has been given to me by CTC and the competition of Byways to compete and participate in this event. My artwork, Amber, was heavily inspired by the events that happened recently in the country. As you know, the communities of color have recently faced a lot of backlash and many people were hurt. As a teen who is Black and Asian, I felt overwhelmed with all the information that I was processing on the news. As a result, I decided to cope by drawing Amber. If you look at Amber's expression, it's only one that I can describe as prideful and confident. I wanted to depict a person of color that has this strength about them in a dark world. As you can see, there's also a contrast in the colors of red and blue. One can take the blue as a symbol of sadness and the black as a symbol of grief. However, I didn't want it to be something so sad. I wanted it for people to know that you can rise up and be a phoenix in the flames, even in dark situations, which is why I decided to pick blue flames in my picture. I decided to go with red for my subject because, one, it's very appealing to the eye, and two, it also screams strength for me. Red seems like something of warmth, and it also gives me something I can describe as a home feeling that makes people feel warm on the inside. Once again, I appreciate this opportunity and I genuinely hope that you enjoyed my art piece. And I appreciate everybody else that has competed in the competition, and I appreciate the judges who allowed me to get this opportunity. Once again, I apologize that I can't be there, but I thank you all for having me here, and I hope you all have a great day.
All right. Well, wherever you are, Trina, thank you. And we are going to move on to our next artist who is not here with us. But this was he got an honorable mention in digital art, Duante Bridges. Does anybody, any of our artists or writers or anyone have any questions or comments, Lee, about our
There are
artist
no
work?
questions, but everybody's saying all the artwork and the poems and everything are beautiful, and they're thanking everybody for sharing.
See that, guys? You have fans out there. All right. So we're going to move on to our next one. First place for photography was Lacey Draper, and we think she was one of our students who um, had to take the STAR test. And so we don't have a message from Lacey, but if you have any questions for her, she can go ahead and answer them when she's able to be with us. Just from a perspective of a photographer, my personal comment is this is such a clear, amazing photograph, and the subject is just amazing and awesome. So why don't you authors and writers, you agree? This is unbelievable. So, all right. So we're going to move on to our second and third place photography and our merited work. Well, our second place. This is by Michaela Vila, and she also found out that she could not be with us, but she typed us a message for us to read. But our little second place picture there, Levi, is he is in her family. And so we will go ahead. This wedding took place, and she's going to talk about her wedding. So, hello, my name is Michaela Vila, and my photo shows my nephew Levi. On March 27th, my parents renewed their vows in church. Our family from New Jersey came out to attend, and I took some photos at the wedding. I'm I've always enjoyed taking photos, and I have even taken a few photography classes. I find it interesting how many different settings the camera has and how many different types of photos you can capture. The photo of Levi was one of the many photos I was able to take that day, but this one in particular was my favorite because his smile lights up the room, and it sure does. He is such a happy and radiant baby, and I love being able to see him. I hope you enjoy looking at the photo, and I hope his smile brightens your day. So, Michaela, we want to thank you for brightening our day. This was awesome. All right. So we are going to move on to our Amber McAllister, who, like, has an entry in almost every category. Amber, do you want to just show this one and talk about these, and then we'll go on to your next works after?
Sure, I have no problem with
Okay.
that.
All right.
Um,
Let them look at it a minute, and then I'm going to come back to you. All right, ma'am, take it away.
okay, so the work Lost in the Woods, which was the art metals piece, was inspired after. If you look at all my pieces together towards the end, you'll start realizing that I like to mix reality with a sense of fantasy because it's my literal escape from my present situation. Um, and some of them are more emotional, but the Lost in the Woods one was a very literal sense of that, of just trying to get lost in your own head, of kind of like a fantasy kind of thing. And then the Tears of Hell one that I did, the photograph that was next to it, um, that was more of an improv situation. I had taken a bunch of different types of photos, messing around with the light effects on your phone. And what ended up happening is I got this really streaky effect with some of the gemstones that were on my desk. And I just cropped it really nicely and ran it through a couple filters. And I thought that it really kind of it showed a sense of sorrow that we don't typically associate with the afterlife, because we think of, like, you know, bad things and misery and things like that. We don't show the, like, sadness that follows those things. And I thought it was a great embodiment of exactly that. Muted.
Y'all wouldn't think I do these like all day long, all week long. All right, let me go to your next slide.
Okay.
What's that? Yeah. Okay, you want to tell us about these? Let's look at it a second. Okay, Amber, you ready to tell us about your
Yeah.
drawing?
Okay. So grandma's brooches was really inspired by the fact that I had a bunch of brooches laying around, and they were kind of starting to rust and fall apart, and they were my grandmother's brooches. They were actually my great grandmother's, and I wanted to try to preserve them the best way I could think, because they were like on a cheaper side of brooches. They weren't like real gold or anything, and so I thought the best way to do that would to be in capitals save them in time. Then what else was there? Then you had perspective on there. Um, I feel like perspective was more of a deep dive into how I feel society kind of portrays the human body for a female. And that's, we see our females and those who appreciate the female body see it with an appreciation and a realism and, an understanding of what it is. And then what society portrays it to be is almost comical, which is why if you look at the piece, the robe is in a very comical sense. It's supposed to reflect that there are two different ways you can look at the female's body, and they complement each other, but they're so different from each other, is what I was aiming for with that one. And then rock romance was, I have a collection of rocks and stones and gemstones and things like that. And throughout my life I've had certain things taken away from me without my permission. And I mean that in the very literal sense of I've had literal stuff taken from my room and all that stuff on very frequent occasion. And so when I can hold on to something, I try to, and not in a hoarder sense, but in a sense that, I like to have one or two things to myself. And one of those things is my rock collection. And so you could kind of describe it as a romance with my rocks. And that piece was kind of me trying to, you don't see rocks being the center of attention in many things, but in my life, as it's one of the one of the few consistencies in my life, it is kind of a center of attention. And so I wanted to portray it as its full beauty and glory, as, rocks.
So, okay, well, let's look back again at the pieces that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And
I also still got paintings to go.
yep, yep, that's where I'm going next. And there's your paintings, honorable mention and merited work. So let's look at them. Okay, Amber, you want to tell us a little bit about those?
So Blue Moon was made like I think 2 or 3 years ago. It was one of those pieces that I've always had fascination and appreciation for both the moon and the ocean, And so I thought making a piece like that would be nice to hang up in my own room. So that was more of a personal piece. And then Love's Perspective, um, warning. Okay. So in high school, I had a lot of problems with self harm. And that's what the piece is pretty much about, because if you look, you'll see that there's cuts across the canvas, and you also see the blade. And so I wanted to kind of capsulate what, me looking back on the situation, that's what it looked like. I was taking something that should have been beautiful and should have been great and everything else, and I was destroying it for a temporary pleasure that wasn't really helpful in the situation. And so I thought the piece could help convey to others what it's like looking back on the situation, because it's kind of shameful to look back on, but you also recognize what you did wrong by doing it.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. And let me show you guys the piece again. So there's the pieces. And, I just personally, I didn't even notice the pieces that you talked about. So by you talking about that piece, it gave a new perspective. So
That's
thank
the
you.
name.
Yes, it's it. Love's perspective. You're right. You're right. Well, thank you, Amber, for sharing. And
You're
so
welcome.
we're going to move on to our first place short story winner, Michael Solis. And we just need to say his short story is very, very, very long. But we're thrilled because we are a digital journal, an e-journal at the moment, that we were able in our journal to go ahead and include his entire story. So I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to meet Michael. Hi, Michael.
Hi, and thank you for the opportunity to let me be a part of this. Um, I remember when I went to because I'm at Fort Sill, and so I went to Education Center. I'm like, hey, is there any way I can showcase my work? Because I want to get my work out there. And the people there, they were like, yeah, there's this journal. They accept entries and submissions. You should do it. And it's called Byways. And so they showed me how to get to the page, and I was like, okay. So I was all excited, and I uploaded my document, and I did, because I didn't know how to take a few parts out. I didn't want to give you a whole story. No, but I started writing back in around eighth grade or so. I had an assignment for English class I had to do, and it was to create a short story. Um, and to have like a fresh take on it. And so as I'm sitting down and I'm watching uh, my stepdad and I watch a football game, I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what can I write about? I was like, man, I don't want to write about vampires and werewolves and things like that. I said, those might be overused. And so I asked my stepdad, I'm like, hey, Dad, um, is there any tips on how to create a story? And he's like, you gotta be unique and have a fresh perspective on what you write about. I said, all right, too easy. And he told me a story about how he had these nightmares about him running in the dark alley and running from the banana man. And the banana man would shoot peels and try to slip him up and all that. So I was like, I actually like that idea. So I wrote out the paper, and I wrote out the paper. I turned it to my teacher, and a couple weeks later, I got my paper back, and I had gotten an A plus. Oh my god, an A plus. And attached to it was a note that said, I loved this story. I read it like 3 or 4 times and I loved it. Great job. You should consider writing more. And from there, it kind of took off. And my I have The Storm Within is going to be a published book here soon. I'm self-publishing it, and it's in an editing phase. I got a book cover designer to create me a book cover a design for it, and I'm getting it ready for the release date. And this is just an author copy of it, and I'm just very excited to see where the writing takes me because it helps me to get out of um, the life I'm not the life, but helps me to escape reality for a bit and to step into the world I created. Um, and I'm very proud and honored to have my work shown to everybody. So um, I'm going to read a short epilogue, a short, I'm sorry, a short chapter from my book. It's just the epilogue. So from the end, and it kind of shifts into the next book that I'm writing at the moment. Um, so here we go. Let me get some water first. And again, this is the epilogue. She was in a war-torn castle, bits of stone missing from what used to be an extravagant building. Debris was everywhere, yet she still called this place home. How could she abandon her birthplace? She had been born here, had seen this place blossom into something unbeknownst to her at the time, until the untimely downfall. She was the rightful ruler of this place, and she would protect it with her life. As she sat perched on the highest beam of her beloved home, she heard rustling from outside of leaves, followed by twigs breaking and voices coming from just outside the walls. After a few minutes, 2 soldiers came inside and began looking around, as if searching for something. These spider webs are huge, she heard one person say to the other. They're too big to be just a normal spider. Could be remains of the last spider army, the other said. Spider army? You really don't know your folklore, do you? When his friend didn't speak, he went on. They were led by a powerful queen who trusted the wrong people and in turn got slaughtered by them. Who was their queen? Queen Island Zadie. She was thought to be the most beautiful in all the land. Now, as she's alive, there's nothing left of that pretty face. She had heard enough. When she spoke, it was loud and clear. Is that part of the folklore, too? Because I believe you have me entirely mistaken. They looked around, staring up at the ceiling, but it was so dark they couldn't see her even if given her vision. Who are you? Show yourself. The woman cocked her head to the side. Are you challenging me? Show yourself, the soldier shouted even louder than before. Very well. She leaped from her hiding spot and landed in front of the petrified soldiers, whose legs gave way and they crumbled to the ground. Her face was hidden, yet her eyes glowed a searing yellow. The soldier who knows about the spider army. What was Queen Island Zadie known for? The soldier to the left was the one who answered. She was known for her mercy. The woman growled lowly. What brings you here? We're just scouting. We wanted to check out the ruins for signs of enemies. Nobody's here. Get out and don't return. The soldier on the left took a step closer. My queen. The woman turned to face a large tarantula looking back at her. We need to make a comeback. We can't hide in the shadows forever. And do what? Get hurt again. Lose the last bit of dignity we have left. Hiding in the shadows is not dignity filled, Your Majesty. The tarantula's pincers clicked together. Our spies have reports of the chosen one living here in Varen. If he's anything like his parents, he can make it right again. Bring respect and honor back into the spider army. Just send me and I will have him here in no time. The queen thought about it. Was it worth it? She didn't want to send her best soldier if it meant getting him injured or worse, killed. But what if the reports were true? Then this opportunity could be the last. She had to take the risk, and she knew this. Go. Be swift about it as well, Loman. The transfer bowed before running off. The spider army was all she had left. If the remaining members of her army were to die, then all she would do is blame herself for trusting her second in command to such a suicidal journey. Still, she had to do something to give her people hope. Now, as her stomach growled, she slid back into her hiding place, waiting for her next prey to stumble about. And there's another passage, but I'll leave that to y'all. Again, I want to um, thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this competition. I loved it, and be on the lookout for my next book. It's called Eternal Fire. It's going to be my second book. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. We're so proud of you. And we know all of Fort Sill is so proud of you and watching. So awesome. Awesome. We are going to all look for your book. So, all right. Well, thank you. And we're going to move on to our next writer, who is Crystal. Crystal Niffen was with us and she was having internet problems. And so she told us, we'll see you on Facebook. So our author is now on Facebook, and so if you have a question, and you'll be able to read her short story in the link that Lee went ahead and posted. You can go ahead and directly ask her questions in Facebook. We're proud of you, Crystal, and your short story was amazing. So we know you're out there. All right. So we're going to move on to our first place poetry winner, Naomi Mitchell, and she wrote Collapse with the Dawn. This was a very, very powerful poem. And I just want to say in the judging, this got massive votes. And so we're going to go ahead and let Naomi. Whoops. Wait, Naomi, I lost my share button. Did you? Wait. Okay. I'm guessing I wasn't showing the collapse with the dawn. All right. Now, Naomi, you're on.
Hi, everyone. My name is Naomi Mitchell. And as Cynthia said, it is a powerful poem. And I think a lot of the power behind it is there's a lot of truth to it. It's a very emotional poem for me and for anyone who's ever experienced a loss. On August 25th last year, my father passed away after battling kidney cancer for over a year. And I was with him on the morning that he passed away. And the story of how this poem came to be is actually a very interesting story because it started off as a completely different poem for an English assignment. I was writing on a completely different sonnet, was keeping with the arithmetic for the requirements of the poem, and I took a break from it and resumed working on some other things I needed to do, like going through my father's estate and all the headaches of losing someone. And I came across one of his journals where he was writing about a memory that he had with me. And it struck me so hard that the last two lines of this poem just got stuck in my head. And they just repeat over and over. And so I wrote it down. And before I knew it, the first two lines to the third quadrant got stuck in my head. I wrote those down. And before I knew it, in less than an hour's time, I had written this sonnet about the morning of my father passing. And to add to my statement about there being a lot of truth behind it, I've always described my father's eyes as mischievous Cherokee eyes. They're dark brown, and you can see the glint in his eyes whenever he was up to something, every time. So on the line where it talks about your once brown eyes have turned blue, that's a truth. And I think that adds to the power of it because there's so much truth into this poem. Um, Cynthia, do you want me to read this? Okay. Y'all, like I said, it is an emotional piece for me. So if I start choking up or anything, just please bear with me. Collapse with the dawn. 2 hours before I woke the family, in our last conversation, you told me, defeat and survive this calamity, to remain strong-willed and earn my degree. As mother took hold of your frigid hand, with the dawn, your once brown eyes have turned blue. This awful pain, how are we to withstand? I'm not ready to say goodbye to you. Echo the sounds of a metallic ring as the reaper arrived to lay a claim. Time for your soul to return to the king. Welcome home, the angels loudly exclaim. Then your heartbeat reduced to zero. With trembling hands, I lost my hero. And that is true. I did lose my hero that morning. So after I had written this, my sister came home and pretty much saw me bawling my eyes out over my spiral that I do on my schoolwork and immediately was like, oh my God, what happened? What's wrong? And I showed it to her. And the first thing out of her mouth was, you know, Daddy always wanted you to publish your work. And at first, I wasn't going to put this in. I wasn't going to share it with anybody. And I don't fully know what encouraged me to just say, okay, let's submit this. And is the only time I've ever participated in Byways. And I'm very honored that the poem I wrote for my dad is the first one that's being published. That's all I've got for now.
Thank you, Naomi. Thank you for sharing this with us. And we just want to let everybody know Naomi is president of our Writers Guild, and she showed some of her work right there and how powerful it is. So thank you for sharing. So, all right, we're gonna move on to our next poet, and he got the second and third place in poetry, Griffin Roberts. He was actually in a previous Byways, and his work, The Glass Sentence and But the Mirror Said, were very, very, very powerful. He is not able to be with us, but we have a video that he's going to show. And let me unshare and make sure. Yep, I still got video. Okay. Let's make sure you can hear him.
Hi, my name is Griffin Roberts, and the two poems I submitted were The Glass Sentence and But the Mirror Said. I wrote these two poems because I wanted to express something that I didn't know how to express through communication and through speaking. A lot of times, words and writing on a page are easier for me to understand and to convey how I feel to the world. And so these two poems are mainly about, to me, self-image and self-confidence. I didn't experience this that much during my own life. However, this is something that I've seen many times through other people and something that I've thought about a lot, and so that's why I wanted to write something that conveyed that in my own kind of way through those two poems. I hope you enjoy them, and thank you for selecting me and having me here. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to our next. Oh, here's two other works of Griffin. So he also got merited work. So congratulations, Griffin, wherever you are. We have another, we have a poet who got merited work for Summer Fails. And he sent us a video of his powerful work. So here is Juan Arango.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Juan Arango, author of Summer Fails. I just want to thank you all for being here and for showing your support to my fellow artists and their work. Congratulations to everyone who has made it this far and for developing an amazing piece of work. Whether it's a painting, a drawing, or even a piece of writing, whatever it is that you have done, I know you have all done an amazing job. Congratulations.
Okay. It looks like we're going to skip our next two artists and move on to Megan Combs, and then that way it'll give our other two artists a chance to get in here. So Megan, let me show your work.
Good afternoon.
And she got honorable mention for obsidian earring, which by the way, I absolutely love this, Megan. All right. So Megan, you want to tell us a little bit about your work?
Okay, so I'm Megan. Hi. Um, didn't really have a specific thing in mind when I started drawing it. I'd seen a picture of an elf with hair that was like fire, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And so when I started drawing her, I started thinking like I want to draw an elf with fiery red hair, and I was imagining personality and everything. Like I don't really do faces. I make emotion. It was interesting for me to try to do a face because I'm not usually doing eyes and shadow kind of thing. So that took me like a full month to finish.
Oh, we can't hear you, Megan. Do you want to get on your phone and we'll show the journal for a minute and then we can have you talk again?
Just a lot of stuff I hadn't tried before.
Oh, okay. Well, keep
So that's
talking. We
kind of
can
why
hear
I
you.
wanted to admit it.
Megan, we if you turn off your picture, we can hear you maybe.
See, I broke it.
No, you didn't break it. It's just a bandwidth thing. So if you turn your picture off, you can tell us about it and then you can come back on and show us your smiling face again because I think we might be able to hear you. Nope, we can't hear you. Tell you what, Megan, we're going to move on to showing the Byways journal for a second, and we'll let you get off, log off, and then log back on with your phone. Okay? All righty. So we're going to go ahead and just take a short journey while we wait for Megan to come back and for three more of our participants. So let's just get a look at this year's Byways. Does everybody see the Byways? Lee?
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you. She is my eyes and my ears. As you can see, we had a ton of entries this year. There's our first place photography, rustic. My Lacey and Ashley Deemers, music. Grandma's brooches. Stories. Lost in the Woods by Amber. There's Griffin. Caden again. Institution on Parade. And there's Naomi's. Alyssa Vasquez. Dear John. There's Amber's piece. There's Ashley's work. Rock Romance, Amber. Griffin. Here's little Levi. Third place winner. Kiki's work. Jared's work. Griffin again. And we haven't gotten to Stephen yet. Hopefully Stephen will be joining us. Caden. Kiki's works. Diamonds. And there is Amber. And as you can see, our stories were included in complete form, which is something we would not have been able to do had we printed the journal this year. So there's Megan's work, Jared's work. There's Caden again. Griffin. Caden's work. Gemini should be joining us. So hopefully I'm hearing noises that we have people joining us. So hopefully they're going to be here. This is another of Michaela's work. And we're going to be getting to Antoine. He is going to be our last speaker. Of Amber's. This amazing work here by Kiki. First place drawing. And here's our very long short story from Michael. And again, we were thrilled that we were able to include his entire story. So if you want great reading, then you definitely need to look at his story. Make sure you have a long time to sit. Michael's probably smiling right now as I said that. And we're almost there, guys. This is I think the longest journal that we have ever published. So, and in the end of our journal, which I am getting there, we have a few more pieces, and we have some journeys. So, all right. So let me see who has joined us. We have Stephen and Antoine who have joined us. So Stephen, are you ready to, if I show you work, are you ready to go ahead and talk about it? Can you unmute yourself?
I'm going somewhere quiet really quick. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It'll take me a minute to get to your piece, and I'm going to show your piece for a minute, and then we will talk about it. Okay. Okay. They're just finishing their STAR test. So here is Stephen's work, Stephen Valentine's work. Black is Beautiful. I personally love this one. Okay. All right. So Stephen, you want to tell us a little bit about your work?
Yes, ma'am. So basically, the background behind my painting was I had just got my first like art painting set for my birthday, and I wanted to try out um, my skills because I've never really painted anything before. So I thought that I should do something that resembled my love for my community and just like the whole movement in general. I support, and I think that I just wanted to paint something that resembled it, basically. So yeah, that was just some stuff that I had, and I wanted to try it out.
Okay. How you did on your STAR test?
It was okay. It was
It's okay.
long.
Well, you made it. You
Yes,
made it. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that.
you're welcome.
All right. So we're gonna skip over Gemini right now because I don't quite see him yet, and we are going to move to Antoine. So let me share Antoine's work.
Am I
Okay.
supposed to just talk about the work and do the
Well,
final speaking or what?
talk about the work. Well, let me show your work first, and then you talk about your work. But before you end up the speaking, we'll check one more time to see if Gemini showed up. Okay. And
Okay.
if Gemini didn't show up, we'll show his work after we show yours, and then you can do the closing. All right, sir?
All right.
All righty. So here is two of Antoine's work. He is going to be a published poet. So we're very proud of Antoine here at CTC. We have a lot of talented people, and Antoine is one of them. So here's two of his works. And here is, it's just the top. This is not his full complete work. So, all right. So Antoine, you want to talk to us about your poetry?
Yes. Thank you for that warm introduction. It was delightful. Um, well, I am a minister as well, so a lot of my writings came from my new found walk with God. So that's part of my new journey. So I don't want to try to offend nobody because of people believe different things, but I was more inspired to write when I came to with the first poetry slam, and I opened up in more confidence in going into that area because I never wanted to write or do any type of poetry. So uh, I know that the talent is there, but you know, CTC's Byways program and Cindy's has helped me to open up and be more creative with the writing aspect. So I was really inspired to write poetry based on some situations that I've been through in my life, and you know, just the person that completes me that I found to complete me. So that's what my work is really based on right now. Uh, those situations, and then my English teacher had us to do an extra credit assignment, and that's what I wrote the first poem, the two is better poem. So the last two poems um, that I wrote, the ones that got the honorable mentions, were based on personal feelings, emotions, and things that really mean something personal to me. So if you guys are just wanting to write things down, jot down your thoughts, your creativity will flow. Do I am I supposed to read one? I didn't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
Muted, Cindy. You muted.
Wow. Doing great here. You can, Antoine. They're not very long if you want to go ahead
All
and
right.
read one.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna read my "Who Am I" poem. Um, who am I? Express me. Can you express me? But I go deep. Express me. I can breathe. Express me. I am free. Express me without confinement. Express me and come into alignment. Express me at your liberty. Express me, but not in your reality. Signed by Love. So my inspiration for that poem was love, and how love is free. Love is just is all over, but we tend to shape our love and how we love people based on how the restrictions of life and things like that. So I just wanted to write how what love really means to me and how we should express love, and how the poem starts out by addressing, do we really know what love is in simple words, and then how we are when we come into finding who love is or what love is, can we really master it and be loving, or and can we show that to everybody else?
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, Antoine. What we're going to do is I don't see our last artist. And so we're going to go ahead and share his work. And then we're going to come back to Antoine. He has some words to say to us, you know, as our final speaker. Antoine, by the way, won first place in one of our communication meets community. And that is where we met Antoine, and we, you know, the Writers Guild and the Communication Meets Community has been encouraging him ever since, and so we're very proud of him. And he's going to show off his speaker skills in a second. So let's go ahead and share our final work with our final artist. Whoops, went the wrong way. And we have Gemini London Edwards, and he just did this amazing work in drawing. So we definitely have an anime artist here. And hopefully, if he's listening, if you have any questions for Gemini, or if you have any questions for any of our artists or our writers, ask them in the comments section.
Hey,
So,
Cindy, there was
yeah.
one question. They're wondering if they could get a bound hard copy of all the Byways works, the Byways Journal.
Lori is on. That would be a
Did you
Lori.
say all of them? All of them, or just
Yeah,
this?
the whole journal, a bound copy of it.
Of
For
this
this
one?
year?
Yes.
Yeah, we normally send all the people that are featured a copy. I know that like with Michael's story, you know, we did it And now since he's published and stuff, we have to consider copyright anyway. We'd have to edit that and shorten it as just an excerpt of whatever part he wanted to share. But yeah, we can have some done. We'll have to work with the print shop. That's what we have done historically. Yes.
Okay. So I'm glad Lori was on. So
So
thank you.
it'll look a little different than the one again that's on line. I sent that link out a while ago. And we can leave that one up. Well, I don't know. Again, now with copyright, we'll have to work with that. But yes, y'all will receive a copy.
Okay. Thank you. And Lori will be talking to everyone as soon as Antoine is done. So thank you, Lori, for answering that. It always helps to have your dean in a WebEx. So Antoine, you want to go ahead and give us some closing words?
Yes. So I did not prepare a long withdrawn speech. I waited till today to come with the thoughts that I should say. And as I began to think about my journey to CTC and Byways and the Writers Guild, the word that came up for me was connections. And I was connected to the Writers Guild through my first professor who gave me a extra credit opportunity. And so I did not understand that that connection was being established in my life to help me do something else greater. So a lot of times we don't understand our progress to success is it starts with at whatever connection that could be positive that goes our way. So sometimes we don't need to shrug off things that may happen to us as that may be a good opportunity that may land us to being honored or featured in the Byways program as it is today, because I never thought that my poem would win or go that far, but I just took a chance to use the connections that I had to uh, take a chance at something new. So for you all that, let me see what I wrote down something a minute ago. So every path that you take that will lead you to success that you might need to just try to uh, see where it goes. Just take an opportunity to see where it goes. And I don't have much to say about it, but it was a great opportunity to be here. And I just hope that everybody takes every connection that they have and do something with it and not just sit back on it and procrastinate, because we all have a tendency to procrastinate, but just take that and use the teachers and the people that you have in your life experience, and then you never know where you could end up, because I think that everybody did something great and phenomenal here. The artworks, the short stories, the poems, and it was just amazing to see how it all came together today.
Okay, thank you. And talking about connections, we met Antoine because his teacher offered him extra credit. And we actually, in his journey, became connected to a speaker that we had during our Black History Month series and Life Stories, who is a published author. And we were able, she offered a connection to our Writers Guild, which also connected Antoine from the beginning of extra credit all the way to a life that he may end up, becoming a published author. And
Well, I can tell him I've written 3 books since then, and she's working with me right now to get those books published. So we're in the process of getting things going.
Okay, so congratulations. And then Michael, I'm sure can attest to having connections here, there, and everywhere, right, Michael?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, Lori, would you like to say a few words to all of our amazing artists and writers?
Absolutely, I would. I just want to say congratulations to everyone that was part of this, that brought it to fruition. As many of you know, there's a lot that you know now that you've seen going on behind the scenes the past months and several months. There's a lot that goes into this. Uh, from the writers and the artists who submit their works to where we are now and everything in between. I just want to say thank you to all of you for sharing your talents, your works. It takes a lot of courage to share your works, often inspired by intimate, personal experiences. with the world. So thank you. Special accolades to those of you that took the additional step to be here today in person, or if you recorded a video to share. That takes, that's an additional step that takes extra courage. I'd also like to give a huge thanks to Margaret Handrow. She's our virtual services librarian. She's in charge of getting all the works together, doing the editing, the sizing, layout, etc., all that kind of stuff, and the finished product of the actual Byways journal, what you kind of saw Cynthia scroll through, and if you clicked on the link or that was in the chat area. Or if you didn't get a chance yet, you can always go to the library's homepage. If you go to ctcd.edu and then go to the library homepage and then click on Byways, you'll see the current one that's up, and it goes all the way back through 2001. The PDF is there. And so she does all that for us. Works with getting it, Cynthia does that too, but works with getting it, that's what we send to printing to get that finished product. Margaret also helps with the tallying that comes into place with all the judging. Thank you to all the judges that participated in this. Have to thank Lee Greenthaner in marketing. She does a wonderful job of helping the library year round, but to seamlessly stream our programs and to get them out to our worldwide community. And of course, I need to thank the ringleader that organizes all of this that you've been working with the past several months, is the outreach librarian, Ms. Cynthia Oser. She does a phenomenal job on this, as she does on all our events, but this one is especially challenging with so many people and pieces, and getting it all together, and giving everyone their WebEx lessons, and mainly the fact that it kind of goes on all year. Like next year's Byways for 2022, those submissions will begin in a few weeks. So Cynthia's probably covering her ears, but and doesn't want to hear that. But so a huge thank you to her from myself and from the college. And then, again, to all the students, we just want to encourage you to keep writing, painting, metal, woodworking, taking pictures, whatever way you find to be creative and express yourself, keep at it. And we look forward to seeing your future creations.
Awesome. Thank you, Lori. And I want to share with you guys who the judges were one more time. Whoops. Wow, good job, Cindy. And over here, my dean was just telling me how great I am. Am I on mute, or did I leave the sound on? All right. So here was all of our judges. And so thank you so much, judges. It was extremely difficult. And we still have our Professor Mike Matthews in our judges category here. He had Byways before the library took it over. So we want to give a special thanks that he is continuing to work with us as a judge. And we want to say one more time, congratulations to all of our winners. You guys are talented, and we hope that you will continue to grow your talent in any possible way that you can. We are so proud to have all of you as our students at CTC. We are very lucky to have you guys. So, Lee, are there any questions or are there comments for our artists and our writers that we want to share with them before we go?
There are no questions, but there are moments, and I would suggest for all of y'all to go and look at them. There's shout outs to all of you. And it's really nice. There's way too many to read.
Awesome.
but they're very nice comments, and I highly suggest you go check them out.
Awesome. See, you guys are famous. Yay! So everybody, turn your cameras on, and we're all gonna give each other a great big applause. So come on, Lee, come on, Stephen, Megan, Naomi, and we don't know where everybody else is. So guys, you are awesome, awesome, awesome. We truly, truly love having you at CTC. So just keep being you and keep up the great work. Okay. All right. Yay. Do y'all want to just wave bye to everybody? Now, we don't have any virtual cookies, but if we did have virtual cookies, we would give them to y'all and we would eat now at this point. We don't have any. So just go in your kitchen and eat some cookies. Okay. Bye guys. Thank you. Y'all can turn your mics on and say bye.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Awesome. And bye, Fort Sill. You know they're watching, Michael.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Well, take us out, Lee.